Hey everybody, Tekking here. You ever hear the expression, you save the best for last? Well, I really think that's what Oda might have had in mind when he was revealing Kaido, because Kaido is the last of the original YONKO to be introduced, and Oda's like, alright, we have to make sure that this guy, his entrance into this story is not dwarfed by the other YONKO. We gotta make sure this guy's entrance means something. Oh god, this guy is fucking terrifying. Alright. Oda likes to do this thing where he'll have a lot of build up to a character, and the entire fan base will be sitting around wondering what that character looks like. He'll mention a character like years before he actually introduces him in the story, and everyone will be wondering like, oh man, I wonder what, like Raizo of the Mist. You know, I think he was mentioned, if he wasn't mentioned in Punk Hazard, he was mentioned like right after Punk Hazard, and it was a few years until we actually got to see him, and we were all thinking like, holy shit, there's gonna be a ninja in the One Piece universe. A ninja in the One Piece universe. This is gonna be crazy. He's gonna be this muscular, like Naruto, Kakashi looking motherfucker. And then other people are like, oh no man, Raizo's gonna be like this dead sexy female, like Kunoichi, you know, she's gonna have like fish nettings and like big tits and super fast and everything. It's gonna be awesome. And then all this build up, of course, and then we finally get to see Raizo, and I mean, he's still cool and everything. He could still do the ninja shit, but his appearance is not what anybody figured was going to happen. Kaido didn't have that, though. We weren't getting, like, we got some hype to Kaido. We got some kite hype, but it wasn't like this, Kaido is the most fearsome creature in the world. When you see him, your testicles will explode at the sheer sight of this apex of the food chain. You know, it was like, he was mentioned a few times, but it wasn't like he was set out to be this all-powerful creature, you know? Like, the first time we really get to hear about him is like, alright, you know, well, Garp mentions all of the YONKO, but then we get, Moria. You know, Moria mentions him after he rips out Luffy's shadow. He's like, you know, he's just kind of going on a monologue routine. He's just like, now that I've obtained the Straw Hat Luffy's shadow, I can awaken Oars. And even if I had that power under my disposal, even that idiot Kaido wouldn't have been able to kill me. So it's just like, alright, so at some point in Moria's past, when he was in the New World with his original pirate crew, Kaido just decimated him. I'm like, alright. I mean, that might have been a little bit intimidating back before we really knew the full story behind Moria. This was before Moria really fought Luffy and and then the whole shit at Marineford. Now Moria is kind of a joke. But, alright, fine. Alright, so he's stronger than Moria. So far, we know that, you know, Kaido, greater than Moria. Oh, like, alright, awesome. Then, in Marineford, it was revealed that Kaido was actually heading there to fight against Whitebeard. Kaido got it into his head, like, oh, okay, Whitebeard's gonna go and try to rescue one of his crewmates, Ace, and he's gonna be distracted, so this is my time to go take him on, right? And then Shanks intercepted him and fought against Kaido. And I guess the reason why this doesn't work in Kaido's favor, and more in Shanks' favor, honestly, is because, like, the day after this altercation, Shanks shows up at Marineford. And we don't know the full story behind that altercation. We don't understand exactly what happened there. But Shanks shows up at Marineford completely unscathed. He doesn't look battle damaged. His crew looks fine. His ship looks fine. Like, and later on we find out Kaido is not the kind of motherfucker you reason with. It's not like Shanks rolls up to Kaido and is like, Kaido, don't attack Whitebeard, don't do it. And Kaido's like, alright, Shanks, you make a good point. I'm gonna head back now. Like, no, we don't know what happened there, but whatever happened, you know, it was an altercation where not a lot of people got injured, at least not on Shanks' side anyway. So that didn't really work in Kaido's favor, because we were like, oh man, okay, Shanks and his little pirate crew managed to take on Kaido, so Kaido must not be this terribly, you know, intimidating motherfucker. I mean, Shanks is powerful and everything, but, you know, most of the YONKO have these huge fucking fleets and these huge crews, and Shanks has, like, I don't know, like less than 100 people on his fucking crew. Anyway, when we get into the New World, he was first mentioned by Law, and this was Law's whole master plan to kind of stick it to Doflamingo, you know, because Doflamingo messed with him. Okay, he's like, all right, step one, we got to get rid of the sad on Punk Hazard, and then that'll kidnap Caesar, and then that'll piss off Doflamingo, and Doflamingo, he's the one actually in production of these smiles, these artificial devil fruits. You know, Caesar was the one creating the raw materials, the sad, and then there was the factory on Dressrosa that was producing the smiles, the artificial fruits, who he was then selling on the black market to Kaido. So Kaido had a artificial devil fruit army that he was creating with the use of these smiles. They were all zone types, and he purportedly had over 500 of them. And so that was why Kaido was so terrifying. He has a crew made almost entirely up of devil fruit users, while as normally you only have like your average like New World pirate crew, you might have like the captain or one or two members of the crew having devil fruits. But outside of the movies, it's not like a lot of the members of your pirate crew are going to have devil fruit abilities, you know, unless you're a Straw Hat, because that's just like the exception to everything. So yeah, that's what Law's plan was. Law, I don't think, really wanted to take on Kaido directly. He didn't want to actually kill Kaido or remove his spot as the Yonko. It was more about, you know, sticking it to Doflamingo for the death of Corazon and everything. So we get rid of Sad, then we get rid of Caesar, then we get rid of the Smile production factory, and then Kaido gets pissed and then kills Doflamingo. And he stated like Kaido should have no problem taking on Doflamingo, because Kaido's like the power gap between those should be big enough that it's like some looming threat over him. Now, when we finally when we finally get the introduction to Kaido, it is a fucking introduction. Alright, Oda doesn't screw around with this, alright? So, oh man, I don't even know how to freaking describe this. Like, your balls might explode for me describing this to you. Okay, so, Kaido's introduction into this story occurs when he climbs all the way up to a sky island. We don't exactly know how he got there, but he gets up to a sky island. Now, sky islands in the White Sea float about 10,000 meters above sea level, all right? 10,000 meters up. He gets up to a sky island, and then he proceeds to jump off. He just walks up to the edge of Balloon Terminal and then just falls off. And he slams into the fucking ground and leaves a giant-ass crater in, like, the shape of his body. Hits the ground with such force, it creates a massive shockwave. There was a battleship anchored right behind him when he hit, and he sank the goddamn battleship. And he proceeds to climb up out of the wreckage out of the wreckage, out of the debris, out of the crater, and just like, oh damn, I got a headache. Kaido cannot die. All right? Like, he's not one of those manga characters that are really arrogant and they're like, he's like, I can't die for I am immortal. No, it's just like, it's like an annoyance to him. It's like, I can't die, damn it. I tried to kill myself and I just can't do it. Whatever. I don't know what's going on. You know, he's referred to as the Earth's strongest creature, and he just tries to kill himself. It's a hobby to him. It's hilarious. His hobby is thinking of new ways to try to kill himself. Be like, did shooting myself work? Pong, nope. Did stabbing myself work? Nope. Sword breaks. Like, hanging? No. Drowning? No. I don't know if okay, well, we're gonna get to that in a second. But anyway, if he has a devil fruit ability. But then he's like, hey, maybe if I try jumping from a sky island, maybe that would do something. No, it doesn't work. He just can't die. Now, whether that be because of the devil fruit ability, whether that be because of some other reason, I've heard people state that, remember how the Oppi Oppi no Mi has that immortal surgery thing that you can do? I've heard people think that maybe he, like the previous user of the Oppi Oppi no Mi, used it on Kaido, and, you know, they lost their lives and then Kaido became immortal. I've heard those theories. I've also heard that he has a legendary zone ability, like the Oni no Mi, given his very demonic appearance. Like his appearance is very clearly like that's Oda's design for him, is the Oni. You know, he's got the horns, he's got the crook nose, he's got the eyes, he carries a goddamn club, a kanombo with him. Like, he's clearly supposed to be an Oni. But that doesn't necessarily mean that he has some sort of like devil fruit like an Oni no Mi. I could totally buy that existing, by the way. Ever since we found out the whole Buddha fruit was a thing, then yeah, that's fine. I'm okay with an Oni fruit. But I mean, like, I like to think that he doesn't have a devil fruit, and he's like the Incredible Hulk, basically. He's just this huge mass of freaking, like 3 feet thick of muscle. It's like skin like it's adamantine, you know, like it's that kind of shit. I think that's more intimidating than, you know, he just has a devil fruit that just grants him all of these abilities, but whatever. Also, I mean, the guy is fucking huge. Like, he's not a giant size, but he's bigger than, okay, Eustace Kid is 6'9", right? And that's a foot and 3 inches taller than I am. And Kaido is like 5-6 times taller than him. He's taller than most. Like, you know how you have like normal humans in One Piece, and then you have humans that are like just bigger and not quite giants, but they're just like superhumans sort of. You know, Kaido's even bigger than that. You know, not quite giant size, but you're getting there. Yeah, so he's a very, very imposing, very intimidating guy. Now, the thing is, we don't know much more about Kaido. We know a little bit about his personality, specifically how he's like he's a drunk, basically. And when he gets drunk, his mood switches like a freaking light switch. You know, like 1 minute he's drinking sake and he's fucking bawling his eyes out he's like, oh, you mean I won't be able to create an army of devil fruit users now because Doflamingo was defeated? Ah, that son of a bitch, but he was weak, I guess I can't help it. And then he'll just flip a switch and like, fuck Monkey D. Luffy, you know, like shit like that. So, very erratic personality when he's drunk anyway. When he's sober, we can assume he was sober when he tried to kill himself. Yeah. We can assume he was sober then, and after he climbed out of his hole and he's just like, oh, I got a headache, he complains that, you know, Whitebeard had to go and die. You know, Whitebeard managed to die, and I can't even die, and, you know, what the hell's Joker doing? Kaido is the motherfucker that wants to start a giant war, like a huge-scale war, bigger than Marineford, bigger than anything anyone's ever had before in the One Piece universe, just to satiate his boredom. That's what he wants to do. He is a guy that has lived through so much. You can imagine from Kaido's perspective, everything is boring to him. You know, he was looking at the shit that was going on with the supernovas, right? And he was referring to it as like even Law and Luffy, you know, teaming up to take out a warlord and succeeding. And Kaido was just like, oh, those are just little pirate games, you know. This is like, cause like think about it, like nothing can kill him. He's been captured. I think he was captured like 7 times throughout his lifetime as a pirate, and he was captured by Marines and other Yonko, and he was attempted to be executed, but they could never kill him. They try to hang him, the rope snaps. Try to stab him, the fucking axes and spears break. You know. You just can't do it. So, we don't know. I mean, if he has a devil fruit, you think the easy method to kill him would not to kill him, but at least immobilize him, because we've seen that with Jack. You know, Jack has a devil fruit and he's submerged in the water, but that doesn't necessarily mean he doesn't die. He's just there. Although, maybe we should do a video just on Jack altogether, because, Jack has some theories also in and of himself that he's like part fishman, you know. But you'd think that if Kaido had a devil fruit, that the Marines would just like, okay, just submerge him in water until he drowns. Who knows? Maybe Kaido is so strong, though, that even the water weakness, even if he does have a devil fruit, doesn't matter. He's so strong, he can even resist that. You know what? If there was any character in the series that could do it, it would be him. So, yeah, I mean, like, I'll just talk about Jack very briefly, you know, just because I said, you know, I really think I'm making a video about him would probably be a better move. But Jack is one of his 3 top men. Very much like Big Mom, how Big Mom has, like, the 3 sweet commanders. Kaido has the 3 disasters. He has his 3, you know, strongest men on his crew that represent, like, disasters. Jack being one of them. Jack has the largest bounty we've seen in the series so far at 1 billion berries, and he represents the drought. He's Jack the Drought, and he's a pretty imposing guy. He has the ancient form of the Zozo no Mi. He can turn into a mammoth, essentially, and he himself is pretty intimidating, but I think we'll maybe get to him in another video later down the line. So that's all I'm going to talk about with Jack. Along with the rest of his crew, he has 2 specific little units in his crew that we know of. There might be more than this, but we know he has 2. One unit is referred to as the Gifters, and the Gifters are the members of of his crew that have the devil fruit powers, have the artificial devil fruit abilities. Now, because they're artificial, they're not true zones. Like, for example, most of them can only transform, like, one part of their body specifically. Like, Sheep's Head can only transform his arm into, like, sheep's, horns. We've seen one that has, like, a crab claw, one that has, like, bigger ears, those are the gifters. Those are the ones that get the abilities. Also, it's interesting to note that the gifters all have 2 horns on their heads. And that's important because, well, that's also what Kaido has. Kaido has 2 big horns. But also, the other unit, the pleasures, are kind of like the foot soldiers, and they only have the 1 horn. So maybe it's like, depending on how many horns you have, that's like a rank in the crew. And the pleasures don't seem to have any unique abilities. It's just that whenever they get hit or damaged, they don't seem to be hurt by it. They just seem to be like in a constant state of pleasure. Like they get hit back by the minks, and they're just like so they're kind of like, maybe they've been trained to the point where they don't feel pain or something like that. So those are the 2 groups, and Kaido's whole goal was to amass an army of, like, nothing but gifters, to have an entire gifter army and an entire army of nothing but devil fruit users to make up his crew, to have the strongest pirate crew, but that was now squandered by Luffy and Law's exploits in Dressrosa. So now Kaido is pretty pissed at them, and wants to probably, and is out for blood. He wants to kick the shit out of Luffy, and from the way that we've seen what he can do, it wouldn't be that hard to do that. Right now, he's holed up in Wano Kuni. He's allied with the Shogun of Wano. I'll put a video link up here in the card to my Wano Kuni video where I discuss my thoughts on that. But he might have, like, an occupation over all of Wano. He might have, like, a samurai army at his disposal too right now. We don't know that. But also, he's also, like, he crash landed right in the middle of a meeting between Eustace Kid, Hawkins, and Apu. Okay, now these are 3 supernovas that are pretty strong, except for Apu. But okay, Apu's okay. I guess he's all right. Whatever. But he crash landed right in there, and we don't exactly know what happened with that. But we know that Kid got the shit beat out of him. This was the strongest. This was not the strong. Maybe not the strongest necessarily, but this was the supernova that had the highest bounty. Back during Shaba Ondi, even higher than Luffy's, and he's pretty powerful in his own right. He got the shit beat out of him. We don't know what happened with Hawkins, and we know Apu joined the Beast Pirates, because later on in the series we see after Jack was defeated at Zou, Apu gets on Adenden Mushi and contacts. He even calls him Lord Kaido, like, Lord Kaido, we lost contact with Jack. So Apu is now, the on-air pirates are now part of the Beast Pirates. They formed, they got joined in the organization. Kid is probably not I would assume Kaido crash landed and he just gave everybody an ultimatum, like, join me or die, and Kid's the kind of guy, Kid would be like, fuck you, I'm gonna attack you, and he's alright, and just gets the shit beat out of him. Apu would probably be like, oh no, please, and then as for Hawkins, we don't know, but Hawkins would probably have joined up too. Hawkins would have probably taken out his tarot cards and been like, alright, chance of defeat, infinity%. Alright, I will join you, sir. But yes, that just proves how strong he is. Managed to just kick the shit out of Kid with little to no effort, really. But yeah, his arc is going to be this year, because we're going to Wano Kuni this year. Kaido's going to be a main focus of that arc. So we're going to see. Oh, and he also killed, when he allied with the Shogun, he also killed Oden. He has a tie to the Kozuki family, and he's trying to get his hands on the Road Poneglyph. He already has one, as well as Big Mom does. But he wanted to be like, all right, so he knew Oden, like, sailed with the Pirate King, and he killed Oden. Probably tried to get the probably tried to get the location of Raftel out of him. Probably wouldn't speak, so he just killed him. And then he knew that, Raizo went to Zou, and he's like, he sent Jack to go get Raizo back, and maybe like, oh, that might be where they are. So he's looking for the Road Poneglyph, and he has a pretty good network of information. He knows a lot about this shit. So I'm interested in seeing what's going to happen in Wano Kuni with Kaido, what's going to go down there. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be the same thing with this arc right now, where it's like Luffy and the gang. Well, right now Luffy's not there, but like Zoro and Law and Kinemon, they're going to Wano Kuni. If they're gonna encounter Kaido, but they're not actually gonna fight him because he's just way too fucking powerful. They might just meet him and then and then they might like free his grip on Wano Kuni, but not actually manage to defeat him. Because how do you defeat this motherfucker? I mean, how do you do it really? Any way that he goes down, he was defeated before by other pirates. Oda makes makes a point to say he doesn't have like this. He's not super invincible. He's not this like flawless pirate. Like, he's been defeated before. He just can't die. You know, so he might be possible for them to defeat him, but they just can't get rid of him for good. So I'm interested. And what do you think about Kaido? Also, what do you think about the possibility of him having the legendary, the Zoan fruit, the Oni no Mi, on the same level as, like, Sengoku's Buddha fruit? Like what that would entail. Like I said, I really don't. I'm okay with him having it if he did have the Oni fruit. That would make sense, but it wouldn't be like something that would blow me out of the water. I would find it more intimidating if he was just naturally this fucking powerful, as just like a natural force of the earth, so that's pretty cool. But anyway, yeah, Kaido, he obviously looks pretty badass, and I hope to see more of him in the future. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave comments below, like, subscribe, all that good shit. Thanks for watching. This will be Tekking101 signing the fuck out. Roar! I'm Kaido. Drink responsibly, kids.